A group of high school students are hoping to enter into a collaboration with architects and the staff of a local museum. The teacher begins by introducing the activity and then invites the high school students and the professionals to introduce themselves.
Well, good morning. We have been waiting for this day for some time, and it seems like it's taken a while to get here. But we're ready to go, and the things that we're looking at today are to have some fun, to get to know each other, and to find out where this collaboration might go. That doesn't mean by the end of the day we're going to know what we're going to be doing in the collaboration, but it does mean that we are going to explore some issues and see what we are interested in and what's possible. I guess the first thing, though, that we need to really take care of today is to introduce, have everyone introduce themselves, and so I think we'll just start over here with this young guy and have him introduce himself, and you can make a comment about, let's see. You got one? Oh, he's way ahead of the game usually anyway, so I'll let you go ahead.
Stand up?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. My name's Alex Lindley. Earlier this year I job shadowed with John. That's about all I got.
Thank you. Next.
Yes, I'm Ryan Pellifer. I know a lot of you anyway, because I've seen you, faces are familiar. So I'm just an intern here at the Hometown Area Museum. So I'm looking forward to what today might bring. So I'm very curious on what exactly what's new to the high school is concerning. You know, this whole process wasn't available to my year, so I'm looking forward to what might come today. So.
As an icebreaker activity, the students and mentors work together to solve various design problems using K'NEX building toys. The teacher has created a worksheet that will help focus their discussions as the mentors and students work on the problems together.
The very first activity we wanted to conduct is one that would kind of give us an icebreaker so that we would get to know each other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pair up mentors with students. And I think in one case we're going to have two students with the mentor, but we'll kind of see how it goes.
So we have to do a 1 foot square.
This is 1 foot in it.
That's one. That's
2 foot. 2 feet. 1 inch square base.
Oh, 1 inch. Okay, well then we need to find, is that about 1 inch? Oh, no, this is about 1 inch.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks great. Okay, now we need foot.
Oh, are we supposed to go up or
Just 2 inch foot.
Oh, okay. So we can't leave pretty things in there?
After completing the task, the mentors discuss something they learned about their student partners, as well as their success in solving the design problems together.
Well, I think we are ready to discuss what we've been doing here today and the reason why we've been doing this. Throughout the rest of the day, and especially in the next 2 sessions, we are going to be trying to hammer out the nature of this collaborative relationship. Do I hear a strange sound? And this relationship is one where I hope that you feel free to experiment and to try and work around problems and issues, just like you've done with this activity that we have here. But we need to find out exactly what happened in order to get into that a little bit more. I was going to have you relate something that you learned about each other very quickly, and so I think I'm going to pick on the mentors this time. And we'll start over here with John and just have John relate something about Liz that he's found out about Liz, whatever. And we'll just go around the room and have the mentors make a comment. And it can be with respect to the activity or with respect to whatever. So take it away, John.
Well, Liz is not a member of the class, I guess. She's been asked to join the class because of other projects that she's working on with you.
That's true.
And she's going to go on to DMAC to study computer drafting. And she's a little nervous about that, but looking forward to it.
I actually learned quite a bit from Andrew doing this. It was a really good experience. We started with the base and worked up and sort of thought, what can we do now? And so we flipped it over and started working up from the other way. So it was a good experience. I mean, it was a good creative sort of experience. It was good. So.
The students then share their own thoughts on the task.
And next, Sam.
Alright, we had to build a 2-foot structure with a 1-foot square base, and we had ours done within probably 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. So we decided to modify it a little bit and put a little spinning thing on top. And she thought it was a good idea since I'd worked with them before, and we decided to make it both sides equal, both sides even. And then some of the stumbling blocks we had was getting the right parts and figuring out how to do the middle right there, the purple ones, because we wanted to try to put some in the middle to connect them, and I decided to put some blue ones on the side. It worked better.
Any questions?
Did you have any trouble with balance since you only went out one way? Did you think about going like an X?
Well, we started out with an X, and then we thought we'd better just make it horizontal. We were going to just make an X, so we decided to make it more architectural by doing parallel lines.
If this were something that was built in the real world, what would that apply to, do you think?
That, I'd have to say like maybe an antenna of some kind, or some kind of like lightning rod or something like that.
The students have been using various types of computer-aided drafting and design software to create sketches and three-dimensional images of buildings and common objects. They present their work to the mentors and describe some of the processes involved in creating their designs.
For this one we had to use, if you see down in here, we had to use the zero coordinates. We had to point out coordinates in order to dimension this.
For these kinds of drawings, the students are instructed in the Cartesian coordinate system and also in the use of the software application, the different kinds of options that they have there. But I usually stress that they use the Cartesian coordinate system as much as possible because you can develop more speed that way. And mathematically, it's more accurate than using the software in its traditional fashion.
This one plays through. Yeah. Then almost 3D see what it is. And this is my favorite one right here. This one. You just loop through this, and it starts over at the top of the railing again, so it just keeps doing it over and over again.
Now, what was it that you were supposed to do in each one of these simulations that...
Just create a 3D model. It's supposed to include some kind of architectural detail.
Okay, this is my Carnegie Library image. I didn't complete off the top on purpose. The main dilemma I ran into was up here, up there in that corner here. There's a little, it kind of moves itself up inside. If you go out there and stare at the outside part of the building, you can see that it moves up there. But the way to show that, I ran into some problems. I drew it a couple times and I had some problems in it, so I went ahead and left it out. Another thing that I had problems with is since the the camera angle was a slight problem. I mean, I had to draw these bricks here and by hand. That's why they're slightly off. It's just getting pretty much started. Once you get started, you can move through everything pretty well.
This is the side of the Carnegie Building, and I didn't have much trouble with it other than these parts right here. These took me a long time.
Why do you say the dental work gave you trouble?
Well, it didn't give me trouble, it just took the longest because that was like the most detail on it.
Again, though, wouldn't it have helped to have like zoom shots of those details?
It got really blurry once you got in there, but I sharpened my image with the Corel Draw before I ever started.
And there's an example of using cross applications where you can take the image into another application and work with the tools in that application and then export it back. And we can do this with just about anything.
The teacher, mentors, and students then brainstorm possible projects on which they could work together.
So the next thing we need to do, this is a very important part of the day, and that is to get together and find out exactly what are some of the things that we might do in a collaboration.
I didn't realize what talents you folks have. You far surpass what I had expected. I could see this thing being a lot bigger than what I had in mind as we talked. You certainly had a better understanding, but I could see you taking the perspective of a person, a visitor to Perry, walking through this building, for example, as we look at the 3D imaging we're doing. And what would it be like to walk through the front door of the building and then maybe take a look at that lamppost and how that would work. You know, something about Perry is people don't know a lot about Perry, but if this were to be accessed by other folks and they could walk through the building without actually coming here, it might entice them to come to Perry and visit the museum or the hotel, Security Bank building. And this can just grow on its own. But I think it's important that it not become assignments. I heard the words said, well, we do these assignments, but I did this in my own time. I think it has to be something that you personally are interested in doing. If it's a potato launcher or what it is, you know, that's exciting to you, but what we're trying to do here is say, we have this big idea about Perry and what it might become. Let's take my interest and apply it to this big picture. And I know the big picture is kind of fuzzy to you. It's fuzzy to us sometimes. But, you know, we want to tell the story of Perry, and we hope that your interest might help bring people to Perry.
I like to deal with arts, so like connect arts and architecture together to form one new thing.
I like the website idea. I think we could like get someone to mess with Flash a little bit and possibly make that work.
Like you. I'll do it. Kind of a little bit off of a little bit, kind of with it, a little off of it. If you, one website that I know of is if you go to Charles Gibbs Ford and you'll see the inventory made. There's a camera that comes up and you can see a circle radius of what is there. We can, I mean, that's just basically using video images. If you do a basic walkthrough of the building, I mean, you can get that on the website, and people will be able to see that, like you're walking down the street into your building or whatever. I mean, it isn't too hard. I mean, if they're able to do it, I think we should be able to do it.
After the discussion, the students take a tour of a building renovation project. The students get a better idea of the kind of work they might do in their collaboration with the architects and museum staff. They learn about one of the rooms, which used to be a courtroom.
What we're going to be doing as soon as we're completed with the administration building and get folks out of this building, we'll be pulling back the carpet in here and trying to locate if there are ghost images of where the benches were in this space so we have a better idea of where the judge sat, you know, where the jury sat, where the folks that were spectators sat. So that'll be going on next fall with the new class. So that might be something interesting you might be interested in look at, because we'll be looking for those kinds of things.